All right. Good evening, good morning, everyone. You know what time it is. Thirsty Thursday. And it's time for another Hometown Hammer. Man, I've missed you guys. It's been a couple weeks. A little crazy here in the U.S. We've had Thanksgiving and I've had finals, so haven't been able to get on. But we have a lot of great guests coming up in the next couple weeks. So before I get started, just wanted to give you guys a couple of announcements. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hey, right down there. Every like is a West Ham win. And guys, we need to win this weekend. If we don't win this weekend, I am very nervous, but I have faith. I have faith that we will pull through. And don't forget to get your Hammers gear for all your local Hammer supporters groups at ahtv.threadless.com. So get your gear, get ready for the game on Saturday morning, and we're going to have a good time. All right, Hammerhead. So tonight I have a special guest. He is a West Ham fan, and he will soon become your favorite. I don't know how, but his wife is a Newcastle fan, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But before I get started, I see Peach. We are going to do a special show for the Irons United for the food banks, and we will be doing a special show on December 17th. To help donate funds to the local food bank. So I will give you more information about that next Thursday. So stay tuned. But tonight I have my Hometown Hammer. And so I'm going to introduce you now. Without further ado, here's Scott. Hey, Scott.
How's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to see everyone popping in. Hey, Kieran. Mark, everyone's here. They come to see you, Scott. This is wild. I mean, so tell me a little bit about how you became a West Ham fan, because, you know, here in the U.S., everyone wants to know, why are we West Ham fans?
So a guy that I worked with when I was coaching in Virginia trained down in Bradenton. And one of the guys he trained with was Jonathan Spector. And he was a younger kid, and Spector was one of the older kids at Bradenton. But he never had a bad thing to say about him. And, you know, he's the kind of defender that, you know, he was a goalkeeper. So he's the kind of defender you always wanted in front of you because he didn't stop. And so I followed Spector a lot. And then he went over to West Ham, and I could never bring myself to be like a Man United fan or anything. I've never been a bandwagon fan. So I started following Spector, and then obviously when he went to West Ham, I really got into the whole thing. So I've got the tattoos. I've got, So I went over in 2010 to a match with my buddy who is an Everton fan. So I saw the Easter 1-1 draw in Everton. And then we went to the Sunderland match. We won the next weekend.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And I took my wife over, and I went to the Man United game, and she did not.
Ooh.
Because getting tickets that first year to the Olympic Stadium was painfully difficult. So I was able to get one.
Wow. Yeah, I had a tough time getting tickets, but, you know, not like the first couple years. So that's amazing that you got to go.
Yeah, I loved, you know, Green Street and all that. When my wife and I went over, we got there, we flew in on a Christmas day. So we were staying at a friend's house near Watford. So we hopped the tube, went out to see Watford, and I showed her what the atmosphere was like around games, because she'd been to professional games here, but it's completely different when the stadium's in your neighborhood. So we went out there for pregame, and then we rode the tube and I showed her Green Street and where Upton Park used to be. And I cried a little bit because it's no longer there. And then we went up to the Olympic Stadium. So like that first day we just traveled all about, but it was, man, it brought back a lot of memories to be there, to be where the stadium used to be and then see what the stadium was now.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I love the Olympic Stadium, but it's not the same as Upton Park. So I have not been to Green Street yet. That is on my list to get to, but I know that it will never be the same. So it's great that you have that experience to be right there in the mix. So when you went over, what would you say your favorite game was, or favorite thing that you saw?
I have to say, so my first Premier League game was the match in Everton. And my buddy and I flew into Manchester actually we were trying to find flights, and we finally got onto a flight into Manchester. And I knew a guy who lived in Oldbury, which I couldn't point out Oldbury on a map with it circled. But he came and picked us up in Manchester, and we bought him a game ticket to the Liverpool, to the game in Everton. But just walking in and the environment, and that was the game that Tim Howard saved a PK, and the fans erupted into a chant of USA. And like, to me, that was so flooring. It was just one of the funnier things that I'd been a part of in a long time.
Wow. That's something that like you would never think would happen. And it's just wild that you were actually there for that.
Another interesting thing was that same time frame at the changing of the guard at the Palace, they were doing a Neil Diamond tribute, and they played Sweet Caroline and Coming to America.
Wow.
Which really kind of blew our minds when we're standing there going, is that? Yeah, that's coming to, yeah, I'm Coming to America. Yeah. We were like, that's
wow, weird. That is weird. Good for you, though. I mean, it was like a sign, like it was meant to be. Like you were meant to be there. That is so cool. I forgot about the changing of the guard. That was a really fun experience.
Yeah.
So tattoos.
On my arm.
Oh, let's see. All right.
There we go.
Very cool. That's awesome. We have a lot of fans that have tattoos. I do not have any. Maybe someday I will get a West Ham tattoo, but for right now, don't have any. But love to see everyone else's.
That was my first tattoo, and it was right after they announced, because I could never get the other logo because I got little bitty arms, and so the other logo was too intricate to put on my arms. And so when they switched it, I went in and got it tattooed within 24 hours of the new logo. So I was the first one in the States to have the new logo done into a tattoo.
Wow.
And my tattoo guy was all over it. Like, he made it known that he was the first one to do it in the States.
Well, that's amazing. We're going to start sending people to him. Like, he was the
Palm
first
Beach,
ever.
Florida.
Wow. That's amazing. So would you say that you have a chant that you like, since you've been to plenty of games? And
well, the Payet one was funny when it first came out. I still think my favorite is the carpet chant. To me, that was just hysterical when it was done.
Yeah.
So that was always one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, I love anything against Tottenham. So whenever there's a Tottenham hater song, I'm all about that. So when you go to watch games now, where do you go? Do you meet up with a group of people, or is it at home? What does it look like?
I'm in Reno, so there's not a whole lot of there's actually, I don't think there's anybody really within the city limits. There's a couple of guys in Vegas that I chat with. One of the guys was putting together a thing with ex-employee and having a whole bunch of people come to Vegas for that. But right now, I mean, with the baby, it's home. I just, and my wife is a saint because she will let me just watch a game. And so, we were talking about what we're going to be doing for the 4 a.m. kick on Saturday. And that's when I lived on the East Coast when I met her and we got married, and the first Christmas we came back to Reno and we had a 7 a.m. East Coast kick, but it was 4 a.m. And I'm like sitting up in the bed watching it on the computer. And she's like, "Why are you awake?" I got to watch the match, honey. So, yeah. And I tell her all the time, the baby's the omen for the team, because I saw the graphic right before the 11th. It said we picked up the most points in the calendar year of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that was right when she was born.
Wow.
So I was like, hey, I got it. It was a sign. It was time.
So a hammer or a hammerette?
Hammerette.
All right.
I went crazy. She had the onesie. She had the little tutu suit. She had the bibs. And so as she's outgrown things, I'm a third kit guy. I've always loved their third kits. So I got her the matching one to this one and I framed it. And so that's framed in her room. And I also got all the milestone cards from the West Ham shop. So all the milestone cards have West Ham on them. And there are some that are like saw my first match and met my first player, things like that. So all of her milestone cards have West Ham logos. It's pretty spectacular.
Oh my God, that's amazing. She better grow up loving West Ham.
I did a promo video for Barclays Bank in the US. They did a thing and they were doing different interviews. And at the end of it, they used me in the closing clip, and I was like, would I disown my daughter if she wasn't a West Ham fan? Well, it just depends on who she chose to root for. She chooses Tottenham, we're done. She can move out. She can move out at 12. That's fine.
See, my father's a Tottenham fan, so exactly. Yeah. And I'm with you. Like, I didn't want to pick a team and be, pick the New York Yankees of the Premier League. So, Man United to me is just, the worst. So I don't know.
When I was coaching kids, if they brought balls from other clubs, and they were in a drill, I grab them and punt them away, make them go chase them. So the kids would bring their buddies' balls in, and then their buddies had to go chase the ball.
Oh, that's awesome.
But like a Chelsea ball would come in, I'd punt it as far as possible and just keep going.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So what would you say is your favorite kit? So you bought your daughter the matching third kit of what you're wearing now. Which one would you say is your all-time favorite?
I liked the last year at Bolin, the third kit. That's been my favorite kit. It's one of only two that I've really held on to. There's a guy in Ghana that is going around and getting, recruiting people to be West Ham fans. So I just shipped him. Yeah. And I just shipped a whole bunch of stuff to him because I had to clean out the closet. And so the only jersey I held on to was that third kit.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love Ibrahima. He's amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible what a great family we have. And you will soon see that, the guys in Vegas and now you're going to start to get to know everyone over in London. And it is a family. So E20 Zone TV is on here, and he has his own channel, and we were just on there a little bit earlier today talking about game predictions and what we thought about, the last game against Brighton. What is your feeling coming off of that game? How do you feel?
I had a debate with the guy today about that. He wanted to see all these changes in the lineup. And I said, yeah, as a fan, you want to see that. But as a coach, you're going into what's going to be a tough match. So you just want to build up the guys that were playing, and you want to keep the lineup as close to the same as possible. Now, I could see Lanzini sliding in to the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like I don't see wholesale changes. I think that I love Antonio. I have loved Antonio and I've cursed Antonio. But I just think that everything is about our buildup and how we get the ball to him. If we're just lumping balls forward, the odds we're scoring are nil. But if we're getting forward in the counter as a unit and 2 or 3 guys are getting in the counter, we're dangerous. And we just didn't do that against Brighton. We didn't move as a unit. And I think we played better. I thought our match against Liverpool was really, really solid. And I just think that, and then Ogbonna's injury, like I was gutted when he got hurt and I saw the injury and I looked at my wife and I said, he just did his ACL. And she was like, how do you know that? I said, well, first I can tell by the tests they're doing on him. And second, it's just the way he fell. And he went back in and played.
Yeah.
On that, which you can do. It's just not advisable.
Right.
So
exactly.
I just think that it's about cleaning up the backside. I think we gave Brighton too much. And I think we often take Brighton for granted as its points. And we haven't beaten Brighton in the Premier League. So I think it gets a mindset. I think when we're playing top teams, Moyes gets the best out of us. And I think when we're playing not top teams, it's a coin flip as to who shows up.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much spoke exactly what I felt after the Brighton game. I feel like a lot of people came off that game very negative. Of course, I mean, it was, a rough game. We missed plenty of opportunities. I absolutely agree with you. I think that moving into Chelsea, there does need to be some small changes, not massive changes, but I won't talk about that. But if you want to check it out, E20 Zone TV, excuse me, James has his channel there. So you want to make sure you go ahead and go onto YouTube and like and subscribe to his channel there. And you can see that video from today. But yes, I believe that we have some sort of curse with Brighton because we just can't seem to manage to get past them. And I don't know what it is because, like you said, it's not like they're just this phenomenal team, but, they're respectable too. I just think that we should be coming out with a win. And unfortunately, we didn't do that. But Saturday is even more important to move forward.
I was watching the match in a class and I did everything in my power not to scream when they scored a goal. I just stood up and left. I just slammed the computer down and stood up and left. And the teacher I was teaching with was like, "Oh, okay, I got it."
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a good day, period. It wasn't. But I don't think that everyone who has that negativity about here we go back to the Pellegrini days, being negative. Here we go back to the old West Ham, no, that is not true. Like you said, Moyes has taken the time to build what we currently have. Yeah, Ogbonna is injured. We got to get Antonio back up at the top and start feeding him. We missed opportunities, but moving forward, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, and I think Lanzini is regaining some of that form. So I think he's earned a spot. I think he's earned a spot in the lineup. And I mean, I don't see a reason why he's not in it right now. I mean, after his last few matches, I think he's been really solid.
Yeah, and he definitely deserves to be out there. So I think we'll see him, and hopefully that's the change we need to start putting it in the back of the net. Because honestly, that was the biggest issue. Really, if we had gotten them in, we wouldn't be in the same position as we are today. Yeah. You know what I mean? It would be a completely different conversation. So, all right. So back to your fandom. Yeah. Who is the team you hate the most in the Prem?
Oh, it's Tottenham. Easy. I mean, I hate teams for stupid reasons, right? Like the guy that I don't liked Aston Villa. So, I don't like Aston Villa. And I don't like, Man United because everybody I coached with was Man United fans. So,
yeah.
But I harbor no ill will for Man United. I do for Tottenham. I just, I'm just, I even met people when I was in London, and I just couldn't stand them as a whole. So yeah, that would be the team I could see go down and never shed a tear.
So you said earlier that you have like a love sort of, you love Antonio, but there's been times where you've cursed him. Antonio last year was not my favorite player, as the chat knows. I've had my fair share of beating up on him, but is there any player that you say that, that really just gets under your skin at certain points in time where you're just so frustrated with them?
At the start of when Ben Johnson starting, he drove me insane. The first 3 matches, and now he's grown into a player I like to watch play. But his first 3 games, he looked so scared to have the ball at his feet. It came to his feet and he got rid of it. And I was like, but that's not why you're there. You gotta get in there.
Yep.
And so for the first bit, I was livid for about 3 matches. And as he's grown into that position now, like, I think there's nobody. I mean, as a young player, I think he's incredibly solid.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for him. He's done very well. To see some of our players improve over the past year, I think has been incredible. That's the most enjoyable experience of this team, that, we continuously have individuals that are coming on and improving, and they're working together cohesively, which is great. That's why I have no doubt, we'll continue to be successful. Do you think we're a top 4 team? Do you think that with the injuries with Agbana and Cresswell being injured, do you think we can still be a top 4 team?
Oh, I think it's all about what you get out of the players, right? I feel like there's a lot of parity in the top 7, 8, 9. So I think it then comes down to results. And I think like our win against Liverpool is just bonus points, and when you're getting enough of those, you're in good shape. When you're getting enough, when you're picking off, take 3 from Chelsea, and we're raring. So, I remember last year, one of the 4 a.m. games was the Man City game we won. And I was like I was still half asleep on my floor when the final whistle blew, because I'd been up with the baby all night.
Oh, geez.
And I just remember going, what? That just happened? And now it's more expected, and I think that's why we get so many fans that are negative, is they're expecting everything just to start flying on. And I think it's difficult to expect. It's difficult to expect greatness every match.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. We're talking about humans that are playing in, in international games, in, cup games and everything else. It's like we have more games this year than we have last year. Their bodies are just going to break down at a certain point. And what happened with Agbana, yeah, it's an unfortunate event. That's not something that could have been predicted. Antonio with his hamstring, we're lucky it's holding up, but that's not a promise, and so at the end of the day, individuals are going to have good games and bad games. And
Absolutely.
Brighton was just was one of our bad games. And I think individuals that really think that that's the rest of the year, they're wrong. So I think we're in a much better place. James thinks that Antonio needs to be dropped, Bowen up top. I don't know about that. I really do think that, like you said, Scott, I think we do need to be feeding Antonio. Now, of course, let's hope he keeps his head over the ball and puts it in the back of the net. But
that bomb he hit against the United States, that goal blew my mind, because that one usually ends up in the upper deck.
Yeah.
And so, he's got it in him. I don't think Bowen's not as strong as Antonio, and that's what we're going to need against Chelsea, big center backs. We're going to need to have a strong player that can body them. And I don't think Bowen's that guy. Bowen will run past people, but the minute he gets hit, he flops.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. Bowen is definitely more of the tactical player versus the brute strength. Wow, interesting, Neil. I'm shocked that you agree. Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we come out against Chelsea. I did see Nipun in the chat. Nipun, we're coming for you, man. All right. I can't believe you showed up on the week that we're playing, you guys. So we're coming for you. All right. So what do you love most about West Ham?
Honestly, I love the family. Like, I love the people I chat with. I love the people I talk to. When I was living in Florida, I was just walking through an amusement park and a guy saw my tattoo and we stopped and talked for 20 minutes. Just, hey, and we just sat, talked, went and got a bite to eat. I let the wife go and ride whatever she wanted. But like, it's that kind of family of guys. Like, I know a whole bunch of Man United fans that wouldn't talk to another Man United fan if they were just walking past them. But like, West Ham fans will stop each other and chat. And, I think I love the family aspect of it.
Yeah. Funny enough, I have yet to be stopped. But yeah, I feel like we are such a family. And I know here in Philadelphia, we've really built up our group. I'm shocked that you don't have more individuals in Reno. I'm sure there are people by you somewhere. So we will definitely make sure that if we find a group that we'll send them your way.
Absolutely.
But it is that family feeling, and seeing everyone in the chat, of course. Canada, Peach, Neil in Australia. I don't know where everyone else is tonight, but London, everybody jumps on and we have a good time and we love talking about, West Ham and having a pint. So it's great. And that's awesome that, you had that opportunity in Florida, because like you said, with other teams, they don't care. They're like, whatever, we're so big. But so yeah, it's definitely.
The West Ham are massive.
We are massive.
We're massive.
Right? So we're effing massive. All right. So when you went to London, was there anything that you like, your favorite thing to eat, like something that you were like, yes, this is the best?
When we were in Liverpool, when I got the fish and chips outside the stadium, and it's given to me in the brown paper bag with the vinegar on it, or not the newspaper with the vinegar on it. That was it. Like, to me, that was the greatest thing in the world. It was really weird though, going to the London Stadium, because outside the food was just strange. Like all real American hot dogs. And I was like, who wants that pregame? That sounds horrible. So there was not a whole lot of like authentic food there.
Yeah.
Not that I thought that I saw. So I think Stratford is just, man. So my wife stayed in the mall, and after the game, they don't let you walk back through the mall. The West Ham fans can't go back through. So I had to go out and around the mall. And then I had to go down into a tube station and go up the other side to get into the mall, and still had to talk my way past security to get in.
Oh, wow.
So, and then I had to locate my wife where we had a prearranged spot, but still, like, it was such an amazingly difficult thing to do.
Wow. I didn't realize that, because we came right out and we went directly to a pub. So, and, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. At London Stadium, the food is like very American, because we thought like, oh, we'll go grab dinner or whatever and go in and watch the game. And so my brother and I, we'd gotten 2 big pints and tried to go in, and we were like, yeah, we're not going to eat any of this food. It's like American food. Yeah. But yeah, that's funny. It's funny that you say that. So the big question is, my favorite food when I was there was the meat pie. So as an American, what would you choose? Apple pie or meat pie?
Meat pie for sure. I had a steak and kidney pie one night, and I have to say, pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that is
pretty
awesome.
amazing.
That sounds really good. One of the other questions I really like to ask people, because it's always like an argument in my house: pizza or tacos?
Pizza.
Yes, pizza. Okay. So if we had a time machine and you could go back to any point in time in the club's history to see a player, a game, what would you do? Who would you see? Where would you be?
I think anything Bobby Moore was playing in. I think when we were visiting and you see, we saw the statue where, near Bolin, and then you see what they've done for, inside the stadium, and, you do the stadium tour and you see all that. I mean, he was just spectacular. And I've read a lot of books where they're referencing him. And I actually coached with a guy who knew him when they were both way younger. And it's just funny because he was like, what a great guy he was. And I was just like, man, that's just a top-notch guy.
A lot of people say that Declan Rice reminds them of Bobby Moore. I have a hard time believing it from the stories that I hear, but Declan does have a special place in my heart, of course.
Absolutely.
He's just
and if he moves, and eventually he'll move on. I really think that, unless the new guy comes in and takes full ownership, I think that eventually we're going to sell him and buy 3 players like Villa did with Grealish.
Oh, I know. I don't want to think about it because to me, Declan is like the new Mark Noble. It's going to be really hard to see Mark go.
We used to describe that player as the straw that stirs the drink, right? He keeps everything together. He keeps everybody composed. He's learned a lot from Mark Noble.
Yeah.
And you can see that. And you can, you see the way the two of them interact. And that's really a cool thing to see, is to see how those two interact, because Mark Noble knew he was coming for his job.
Right. No, you're absolutely correct. And, Mark was, a gentleman about it and really took him under his wing and helped Rice grow into the role that he's in. And it's been phenomenal to see his confidence, obviously explode since he's become captain. Who do you think would be that new replacement if Declan is gone? Who do you think is going to be the captain of this ship?
I think you're going to have to look at the back.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another player. I think Souček hasn't been there long enough. I could see Antonio taking that role if he's still with us when Rice goes, but I think you're looking at one of the guys in the back.
Yeah. My next probably choice would be Ogbonna, of course, but he's injured, and I think that he really is the mastermind of the back line. And so that's why with him getting injured, I've been really disappointed with that, and I don't hold Diop as high as I do Ogbonna. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who actually steps up after Declan is gone. Yeah, we don't know. So I would say when it comes to the battle of the Czechs, Souček and Coufal, who would you pick?
I love Souček. Anybody that gets his head stuck in the way he does and doesn't even care. To me, that's an invaluable player. Every team has to have one in them, and I don't think we've had one for a while. But every team has to have the guy that'll stick his head into anything, any challenge, anything. And every year I coached when I was coaching in high school and college you always had that guy on the team that everybody thought was crazy because he would throw his head at everything.
He really does. He does. I mean, gosh, when he got like stomped on, I was like, oh. And he just gets back up like it's nothing, and okay, he's in the next game. Like,
I was at the NCAA final the year Wake Forest played again. Wake Forest won it against Ohio State, and a Wake Forest player took a cleat to the face and was cut here and across his face and refused to be stitched. They basically super glued him closed so he could celebrate with his team after the game.
God.
So Suchek got off easy compared to that guy.
Wow. I mean, like, what do you do? Like second skin?
Yeah, I mean, there's just it's basically a super glue. You shove it in, push them together. But I mean, even in the post game photos, he's there with that big old scar on his face.
Oh my God!
But you got to have one.
I mean, if it brought him that victory, good for him. Right? So, early prediction. Where do you think we'll land on the table?
I think we'll be 4 or 5.
Wow. All right. I like it.
I think we can be consistent. And I think that beginning of the year, we were consistent. We were picking up points. And I think, it's peaks and valleys, right?
Right.
It's trying to keep the valleys as short as possible and keep the peaks as long as possible. So you're going to have bad runs of form. And right now we're in that. But I think, I honestly think getting a draw might have done a better job of motivating us for Chelsea.
I hope so.
Because the points become desperate.
I hope so. Who do you think we're looking at for this next transfer window?
I know we've been looking at a lot of forwards. I think we have to bring in one. I mean, I love reading the gossip columns, but I'll be honest, there are so many, rumors that go around, and a lot of it is agents putting those things in. I think we pick up a striker because we have to, and I honestly think Lingard will be with us as well. Yeah. I think that they'll spin the 10, and they'll get him.
It's funny. My boyfriend loves Jesse Lingard. And so I told him if he does actually come to the club, I will get him an official West Ham jersey. So
I just thought he was class. I thought he was class when he was on the loan last year. I just think that he showed up and he stepped in and he played he gave everything. And he was that spark that led us on that half of the campaign. He is a Moyes guy. He doesn't stop pressing. He moves and moves and moves. And I honestly think that's why Haller was such a bust, because Haller, the ball finds him.
Yeah.
The ball finds him. He can put it in the back of the net, but he doesn't really like to move for the ball.
No, not at all. You literally had to play it at his feet where he wanted it in order for him to be successful. And that was so frustrating.
Or hang it up so he can bicycle kick it.
Yeah.
Those are the only two options.
Yeah. I know. And it's unfortunate because we really had higher hopes for him and it wasn't there. And so getting Lingard in, I think maybe that's the pep that we need to push us through to the end of the season, like you said, and get us up in that, fourth or fifth level of the table. So I don't know. I really hope we get him, especially because I don't know. I always say to James, I love doing this.
Yeah. I tweeted at Lingard that if he signed, I was going to get that tattooed on me.
No way.
Without my wife's permission. And so she was really happy we didn't re-sign him.
Yeah.
I was like, funny. I'll get it right next to I'll get it opposite the West Ham tattoo.
Wow. That would have been insane. Jay Lings. Yeah. We're definitely, hoping that he comes. I think that he'd be an excellent addition. So We'll see. We'll see. And I agree with you. I think rumors are just rumors. I hate following them because there are way too many. And I never know really what to believe. And so I've been hearing the Jay Ling's rumor for quite some time, and I'm hoping he comes back home.
I don't think he. I didn't catch the very end of the match today, the Man United match, but I don't think he stepped on the pitch.
No.
I think that's your sign. If he's not stepping in even to kill off a game, I think that he's just not in the future.
Yeah. Which is good for us.
Absolutely.
Towards the end of the season last year when he was, putting them in the back of the net and just being phenomenal. It's like, we wanted him to be phenomenal for us, but not for his contract purposes.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's funny. Oh, Roy said he did play the last 20 minutes. I did not see that. Did he?
I didn't see him either.
Burn it. Yeah, I'm with you, James. We need another striker. We're going to need someone in the back as well. So we'll see who else we get there. I still think we need someone to support Cresswell and Diop. So I don't know who we'll get back there, but we definitely need someone. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So game prediction for Saturday. So you're getting up at 4 a.m. to watch this.
I will be up at 4 a.m.
Oh my gosh, man. Do you drink espresso, Red Bull? How do you do this?
I trained for long running events. So there were times I would get up and start when I was in Florida and I was training, I had to be running by 3:30 in the morning in order to get a 2-hour run in before the sun came up. So, because once the sun came up, it was too hot in the summer.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a thing where I can just get up, I can have a cup of coffee and I can sit there and do it. I have to be quiet because everyone else is sleeping in the house now. But
see, that I would be, even with my coffee, I would still somehow find a way to fall asleep. But
there have been times I've struggled, like that Man City game. I was laying on the floor when the game ended, and I was just I was hugging a pillow and in front of the fire, just watching the TV.
If it's not an interesting game and we're not keeping it moving, sometimes take a good cat nap. But
I have I've Sirius XM, so I'll listen to the games, and periodically, if we're not playing well, I'll check and see if the West Ham game is on Sirius XM, and I'll go to the gym and I'll run and I'll listen to the Sirius XM, because I was just if we're not playing well, what's the difference? And both times I've done that, we come out with wins, so I don't think it's a bad thing.
So is it the running or the baby?
Maybe it's just being on Sirius XM. Who knows? But
well, we're going to need to see your baby in her West Ham kit, because that's just the best thing ever.
Right now she's outgrown them.
So none.
Not right now. I sent so a guy in Philly had a granddaughter. I don't know who it is, maybe, but I sent a bunch of baby girls' clothes to him.
Oh, and Mark had a baby, yeah. I think he's our only baby.
So I sent him a bunch of girl stuff, because I'm awesome. I'm not holding on to this stuff forever, and I'm not just donating it because I had to pay to ship it over here. So I find people that want it. And Brawley Darbin, who does one of the other groups, I sent him some of the stuff, and I sent a guy from Chicago some of the gear that I had. I was just I just send it to people because I can't use it when she outgrows it.
Yeah.
So her next shipment will be in January, her next shipment of stuff.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah. So it's funny because I don't know very many West Ham female fans, but I got an extra vest that they sent me, and I ended up giving it to a girl in Philly because she likes them. But yeah, it's hard, when you're paying all that money to ship the stuff over here. So
yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. And my wife is hysterical. She's like, you can buy a jersey in January. because they usually do free shipping to the States in January. Like,
Do they?
Go ahead and go. Yeah, they have the last few years.
Huh.
They did free international shipping the last few years in January.
All right. Well, that's good to know.
And but who knows? I generally don't mind paying the shipping, but
yeah,
I don't make all the decisions in my house.
Well, I do pay the shipping, but that's good to know because it's hard. It's hard to get that stuff over here, and and that Premier League cup, I got to get one of those. I mean, I just had my friend make me this, which is awesome, and it's just tough to get West Ham gear, so that's cool. I'll have to bug Mark for when I get a little bugger to get the clothes.
Absolutely.
All right. So what are you thinking the score prediction will be? What's your score prediction?
If we come out on top, it'll be 2-1. 2-1 us. I don't see a clean sheet for us. I think we're still struggling there. I think if we're moving forward as a group, I think we were so solid against Liverpool because we were so focused on doing it right, like getting out right. And we were very focused on set pieces. And I think if that focus comes back, 2-1 is easy. 2-0 is easy, I think. But Chelsea's such a solid side, and it drives me insane to say that. Yeah,
I'm nervous. I don't want to say my prediction because I'm just that nervous. Agree with you. It depends on what team is going to step out on that field. Who do you think will score?
I think Lanzini, if he's in the side, Lanzini will get one, and I think Antonio will get one. Just poacher's goal.
I hope so. I think that having those two score would put us, right back on track. I think, they need to in order for us to stay on course. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be tough. So, man, bless you for getting up at 4 a.m. I'm getting up at 7:30, and that's going to be hard enough for me. So, all right. Well, you've heard it from the man, Scott. If people want to follow you on social media, where will they find you?
I believe I am at Reno Hammer. Let me check. Let me make sure I'm right.
Yes, you
at
are.
Reno_Hammer.
All right. So hopefully Saturday he will be right and we will win, get that W we so need on that score sheet. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me in the chat. Arthur, Mark, Neil, Roy, Kieran, Peach. And you know what? And I have to say, to Nipun, we're coming for you. So thank you so much again, Scott, for joining me tonight and doing a Thirsty Thursday. And we're going to leave it with a Come On You Irons. And
Come on, you
guys, next Thursday. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
And we are effing massive. Don't forget it.